Something big has recently popped off in the beauty community, and for those who don't know what I'm going on about, we have to sit here and think for a moment. Most of you may know of a YouTuber or a beauty artist or a makeup artist known as James Charles, whom of which has been caught up in a lot of controversial things within the commentary community as of lately. And about 20-ish hours ago now, a big video was dropped by another beauty YouTuber called Tati Westbrook, and it's a doozy. Now, you gotta learn some little history behind what's happening with James Charles as of lately, in order to get to know the entire situation around this. Not that long ago, a situation with a James Charles coming over to London and open up a new store, causing a massive traffic jam in London just due to how many people were trying to just be near him, meet up with him, and situations along those lines, ultimately put James Charles on the news radar. And at that time, a lot of the commentary YouTubers actually defended James Charles in the situation, as it's just something so ridiculously stupid to call out a YouTuber for doing, for causing a traffic jam because he's that popular. Like, what? You can't really do much there. Then another situation where he had to go on a rant on Twitter because people kept going over to his house, which he just moved into, and kept trying to take photos with him and just things along those lines. Again, he got a lot of defense from so many different people. Then the Coachella event happened. I don't know exactly what it is, but one of the things that happened in it is that James Charles promoted a vitamins brand, like as simple as that, because he got paid to do so. But this in turn affected one of his close friends in the beauty community, Tati, whom sells a vitamins brand herself, which James Charles actively used a fair bit until that incident there where he promoted a competitor. Again, he's pretty young, so he may not have realized it at the time. So, okay, a little bit of drama there, but ultimately they both made up in that situation. Then the whole James Charles tour happened where he had VIP tickets at $500 a pop. This is a situation where I was sitting at a 50-50 split for, because it's just something so interesting to look at. Because, like, you gotta sit here and think about it for a moment. Here's from both sides. Side one, where it's, like, stupidly expensive, and a lot of his audience are kids, right? So that seems to be an exorbitant amount of money just to go to a VIP section of a show, of a tour, to be precise. But then you look at it from the other side, by how popular James Charles is, it suddenly doesn't look as bad because, well, there's demand for it, and it's not the only tickets he's selling. Like, it would be bad if the tickets didn't sell. It would clearly show that he doesn't have the audience who would buy those type of tickets, but unfortunately, within a small amount of time, those tickets sold out really quickly. And in all honesty, he could have sold them at a lot higher and people would have still brought them. Yes, it may have been slightly scamming, but come on. When you're a person with that massive audience, it's kinda like, if you make it too cheap, then you're gonna have too many people wanting to buy them and too many people doing the meet and greet thing, and it just becomes too much pressure on the YouTuber or the celebrity or whatever you'd like to call them. But making them too expensive is, like, bad, scammy is. So the tickets price is a little on the iffy side. Like, it's kind of, I'm on a 50-50 there, because it's like, it's confusing and it's like, it's unsure which side to be on, because it's like, he's that big of a person on the internet that it kind of makes sense. And now we get to the video that was dropped by Tati not even a day ago as of me recording this, where she takes the time to detail pretty much everything she has done to help James Charles in his career, to help build his career up, to help him promote himself, and then help from her husband to help James Charles manage things, to manage money, to manage promotions, like so many big things that has ultimately formed James Charles' career. And then Tatty was also extremely supportive when James Charles was getting places. Even after James Charles flew by Tatty, Tatty would continue to be extremely supportive. That was until a party popped up where he was invited along with a lot of her family and other people. And basically, James Charles was making some pretty gross sentiments, whom was a straight male. Now, what James Charles was referring to in this situation, what Tatty was referring to about James Charles thinking about, is that doing sexual things to a straight guy. Basically saying that he will conform to it because James Charles is famous and has a lot of money. Again, case an example of a smaller controversy that happened not that long ago, where a guy made a video just talking about James Charles doing something along these lines, where he was trying to use his money and his fame to get this straight guy to do some sexual things with him, practically. Ultimately didn't affect James Charles much because the video really didn't get too far, mainly because he wasn't in the same community. He was a small channel, and therefore, unless his video was going to go abstractly viral in the beauty community, he wasn't going to do much it wasn't going to do much to affect James Charles. But in this incident here, where Tatty's made a 43-minute video, not only detailing everything that James Charles has done wrong recently within his loop with Tatty, but everything Tatty has done over the years to support James Charles and help him grow his channel, which pretty large. And being in the same community as James Charles, and then having somewhat of a sizable channel herself, it blew up. At this point in time, it's coming up to 10 million views in under 24 hours. 10 million views in under 24 hours. Do you realize how insane that is? Let me just state it to you for one last time. 10 million views in under 24 hours from a channel that at the time was sitting at 5.9 million subscribers. She's now currently bounced up to 6.6 million subscribers and still going up so rapidly it's not funny. And ironically, James Charles has lost more subscribers now. At first it seems like all the people unsubscribing from James Charles are subscribing to Tatty. Now I think we're starting to see the overlay audience where the people who are already subscribed to Tatty are now just unsubscribing from James Charles, because James Charles is about to be the first ever YouTuber to lose over 1 million subscribers in 24 hours over a controversy that is absolutely drastic and massive in nature, which is absolutely unbelievable. Now, in one of these cases, you'd think that James Charles would take the time to make a proper response, something that would convince his audience to stay, to convince his audience to not leave, not unsubscribe, to pretty much try and fix up his massive mistake. Now, James Charles responded many hours later after he'd already lost nearly 500,000 subscribers. And unfortunately, it's one of those apologies where you can tell that it's not exactly genuine. Yes, there is a lot of, at points, he does seem genuine, but rarely. It seems more of a mask he's trying to put on to try and save face from something he knows that he has done wrong. Ultimately, in this case and scenario, he should have just apologized for what he did wrong and admitted that he did it, instead of trying to hide the fact and fake it out to try and avoid ruining his career more, because ultimately it's going to do more damage than what it would have been for him just to accept what happened and admit to what he did. But what I want to say here is be careful what you believe in the situation, because right now it's in a toxic stage where people are going to make up lies, big blatant lies, to make James Charles look as bad as he possibly can, despite the fact there's already enough out there that's true to make him look bad, but they're going to make up lies to make it look even worse. The past 24 hours has proven to be a very interesting thing with drama, especially with the pro Jared and James Charles events happening as of recently. There's a lot of things to talk about, and hopefully I can get back on the video making train and get right back into making some nice videos for you guys. Now, there is no camera today because of many reasons, and it may make this video a little more interesting for you guys, but anyway, that's it for today. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave give a nice tap to that like button. I'm sure it will enjoy it. And if you are not already, maybe subscribe. It'd be highly appreciated if you do, and if you don't, that's fine. Anyway, till next time, see ya.